And that's why people were so upset that they didn't come out with a currency backed by gold in August. People are upset that silver hasn't taken off yet. All of these things, the timeline is counterintuitive and it doesn't make sense until it does. And I've been doing this for so long, I see how it plays out.
Embark on a journey through the silver market's intriguing twists with the dynamic Andy Schectman from Miles Franklin. Beyond the pandemic's impact, we've witnessed peculiar spikes in silver and gold premiums, creating a unique scenario of commodity abundance and retail scarcity. Andy unravels the mystery behind these premium surges, exploring the intricate interplay between economic shifts and the banking system. Join us as we navigate the enthralling realm that has drawn many towards precious metals, and discover the reasons behind gold's triumphant surge to the $2,000 pinnacle. This isn't just a report. It's an invitation to unravel the captivating narrative shaping the silver landscape.
We really haven't seen, yes, I mean, the order volume has picked up, actually. I mean, certainly since the war started, there's been greater interest, but the premiums and the availability haven't really changed at all. It's like we've bottomed out and we've plateaued. And I'm surprised by it. I'm actually kind of shocked by it. I'm waiting for the shoe to drop. It hasn't. And if anything, we've seen, attractive prices and availability for the better part of a few months now. In an environment where I become more and more concerned, maybe I'm just more jaded than I've ever been as it pertains to what's going on in the world. And maybe I just don't understand why more people don't see things the way that I do. I think I'm cursed with seeing things sometimes a lot before they happen, a lot longer than I would like. And I'm looking out into the future based upon 30 plus years of doing this. And I see a time when the American public wakes up to virtually no alternatives as to where to safely put their money. Look, we saw another bank fail. I think it's interesting. We see three banks glitch. It was a Bank of America, a US bank, and I don't know, another one. And then at the same time, we see Citizens Bank of Iowa fail. I mean, is there a coincidence you're seeing three banks glitch? Glitch? What the hell is glitch? And then one bank fail. This is where the trouble's going to start. 5% allocation to people's portfolio, which would be woefully undervalued, would represent a tenfold increase in demand, according to Rick Rule, and his 0.5% allocation to the U.S. financial matrix to precious metals. And he says from Joe Sixpack to the Harvard Endowment Fund, it is under-owned to the extent representing 0.5% of the collective allocation or portfolio allocation. When that changes to 5 or 10%, the overnight impact is extraordinary. And I guess the one thing that we can all agree upon now is that there's a lot of money out there that is, wondering where to safely put it. And we've seen what's happened with treasuries and money markets. And I think you will see that moment where the realization by people who have no clue that the banks truly aren't safe. Now, if you're under $250,000, you should be okay. But there's over $7 trillion in uninsured deposits right now in the banking system. So there are a lot of people who don't get it. And if that money comes out looking for a safe place to go, where do you go? I wouldn't say the bond market in anything in terms of duration is safe these days or desirable. And the stock market, no. The real estate market, no. The dollar, shaky. Where do you go? So that's when I see things changing. But right now, no, it's been a hell of a subsidy in a world that is screaming to you, you should own precious metals because the world is upside down in so many ways, economically, spiritually, morally, the list goes on, geopolitically. So the fact that it's as cheap as it is makes no sense to me, Chris. And no, well, I mean, I guess there's still a little bit of mystery as to exactly what it was, but there was far more retail demand, I mean, on a basic level than there was available supply. And you throw into it the inefficiencies of the U.S. Mint only made it a whole lot worse and added a lot of conspiracy. Or was it reality, or is there a fine line between it? I mean, listen to Bix Weir's 3-part interview with the guy that runs the Silver Eagle program at the Mint. He openly admits that he was told by his officials to produce the smallest amount possible without creating outcry by the public. He openly admits that the primary distributors wanted something like 36 million coins and they gave him 12. So, why is the question? What's the reason? So there was far more demand than there was supply. And I think you had a lot of people around the globe that were all competing for the same ounces and caught the mints off guard and the supply chain distortions and all of the things that we can talk about, that we know of, sure. No, we didn't see the 1,000 ounce bars disappear. But what we did see is an awakening by a number of people, a larger group of people than we traditionally would, that understood that, hey, something's not right. And I'm looking for a way to protect my assets and remove counterparty risk. So it wasn't any major conspiracy, I guess you could say. But the one part that does bear thinking about is, why did the US Mint do what they did? And I don't know the answer to that. And they admitted it openly on Bix's interview. I mean, I couldn't believe he said it, but he did. So bottom line, Chris, whatever the reason was, at least on the retail side, far more demand than there was supply. But that, I think, ultimately is what we could expect to see on a much larger scale, and maybe even on the wholesale level, as Ted Butler is saying just that right now, that there is a shortage of industrial size bars. And when you continue to see evidence of not only the COMEX or the London Metals Exchange or the LBMA having massive offtake through delivery, there's also all sorts of conversation about the ETFs through share redemption being drained. And then, of course, you have what just happened the other day with PSLV and BlackRock, who took a huge delivery off of PSLV. That's one that we haven't heard very often. And that's why people were so upset that they didn't come out with a currency backed by gold in August. People are upset that silver hasn't taken off yet. All of these things, the timeline is counterintuitive, and it doesn't make sense until it does. And I've been doing this for so long, I see how it plays out. You wonder if it will ever come, and then it does, and it never looks back. So when you base your decisions on economics and mathematics and a sprinkling of old school logic, they come true, just not when you think it will. But I'm fairly confident that in the end, these numbers play out. I guess we'll just have to see what it is that triggers the outcome, what triggers the landslide when it starts to move in that direction. But you're right, we're not there yet. And there's still time. There's time to protect and look at these counterintuitive prices of metals and the counterintuitive behavior of the markets to your advantage. That's what the biggest money in the world is doing. It's called misdirection. So use it to your advantage, and don't look at it as being disappointed. Look at it as, oh, they've given me more time. That's how I do it. And God is my witness. That is how I do it. So anyways, I've rambled enough. I appreciate you, Chris. Sometimes it's hard to come up with things to talk about that are new. This isn't one of those, it doesn't always have to be new. It just needs to be reinforced that it's real and it's happening. And you can see it by little by little, you're seeing countries dump treasuries, dump dollars, accumulate commodities outside the dollar, buy gold. And you can see it in the geopolitical events. You can see it in what's happening here at home with the lack of unity and the divisiveness and the anger and the lawlessness and the lack of respect for authority. And all of these things, they're all, to me, part of a bigger piece, a bigger puzzle. And don't focus on just one thing. Look at the bigger piece of the puzzle. The life as we know it in this country is changing. And so you need to prepare yourself for it. Hope you never need to use this stuff. If you are, you're damn glad you have it. And if not, give it to your kids as a lasting legacy of something that's been considered wealth for all the time. That's how I look at it. And, I wish I didn't see such a dark horizon in our future, but I do. And I think that only makes it more important to own it.
As our silver saga unfolds, we wrap up this exploration with Andy Schectman. The journey through premium surges and economic intricacies unveils a story far beyond the ordinary. Stay tuned for more insightful conversations where we dissect the ever-evolving dynamics of precious metals and the financial world. If you're not already subscribed, hit that button for a front row seat to future revelations. Until next time, keep riding the waves of knowledge and discovery. Shine on.